Today I want to nerd out on some shoulder stuff. Shoulder mobility or shoulder strength is super important because there are so many ligaments holding that glenohumeral joint together, and it's such a complicated joint, and saying shoulder really involves a lot of other aspects to it that's not just this area of the body here. So the shoulder is connected to the whole joint. It's connected to your ribs, it's connected to your scapula, and obviously your T-spine is part of that scapula as well, and then your chest or pectoral muscles will be involved as well. When I take into account that someone has a shoulder injury, whether it be from a motor vehicle accident, a actual trauma like on a snowboard or anything like that, or even just chronic shoulder pain, I always look at the T-spine right away. So when someone comes with me with some kind of shoulder injury or needs help with their shoulder, I always look right at the mid-back. T-spine mobility is super important for a lot of different issues in the body because of the way we are today. We are seated all day, we're looking down on our phones all day. That's just how it is. And unfortunately, the sad truth is that your T-spine is super tight and you're slouched over and it's just not moving properly. It doesn't rotate properly, it doesn't flex and extend, all those things. These are my favorite shoulder exercises. A few things to note when you do have a shoulder injury. For the majority of people, not everyone, and it's obviously a case-by-case basis, but it's a lack of typically T-spine mobility, lack of scapulohumeral movement or rhythm movement where it doesn't move very well together, a lack of scap strength or stability, and pecs here because we're always in this slouch position, right? Also, not being able to breathe properly, believe it or not, because the shoulder is attached and the T-spine is attached or near the rib area. So there's a lot of different things here and we gotta work on them all. So let's get into the exercises. The first exercise here is a high plank scap push-up. You can also do this from your knees if you'd like to regress. All that's moving here are my shoulder blades, keeping my core engaged. Now we're gonna do some eccentric push-ups. So eccentric means lengthening of the muscles. And what we're doing here is really trying to slow it down on your way down. I don't care how you come back up as long as there's no pain. Now we're in quadruped or 4 points and we are focusing on the T-spine here. So this is your normal cat-cow, but instead of focusing on the low back or even the whole spine, I'm focusing on my mid-back or the T-spine, and I'm pretending there's a string on my T-spine there and it's pulling up towards the ceiling and then getting sucked down. To try to isolate the thoracic spine even more, you can go into this position. And it doesn't look like much movement, but you can slightly see my mid-back flexing and extending. It's very small. I'm still moving my neck to help with that T-spine movement. Quick thing with the T-spine, I'm sorry, I'm so nerdy. When you flex and extend, you're actually increasing the rotation of the spine as well, because you can only rotate as much as you flex and extend. So the amount of flexion, extension, or mobility you have in the mid-back will allow you to have more of a rotation, which typically helps with a lot of sports, especially any rotational sports. Now in the same position, I'm just gonna bring my hands a little more forward, head stays down, have a thumb up, trying to keep my elbow as straight as I can, and all that's moving is my shoulder. And I'm bringing my thumb towards the ceiling. It kind of just helps with that type of external cueing here. If your elbow bends here, mine slightly does. That means there is a little bit of compensatory patterns. And of course, we got T-spine mobility over the foam roller. So you want to try to keep your ribs down as you extend back. You don't want to flare your ribs out. And here you can just stay in that extended position and roll a little bit back and forth. Or you can do a few reps where you flex and then extend over the foam roller, hold for a bit, and then flex and extend over again.